Hello and welcome to ZalthoLIVE, the podcast featuring Zen Buddhist monk Claude AnShin Thomas, who will share with you his life experiences that includes not only military combat, personal violence, and addiction, but also healing, transformation, and the ongoing joy of everyday life. Please enjoy listening.
Here at the Zaltho Foundation, we are happy to announce the release of a new book from Claude AnShin Thomas. The book is titled, Bringing Meditation to Life. In this podcast, AnShin will be reading several selected excerpts from the new book and talking about what it was like for him to release his writings. The book is available in paperback at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and bookshop.org. The hardcover edition will be coming soon, and all details can be found at zaltho.org. Please enjoy.
Greetings. I'm Claude AnShin Thomas here. I'm talking to you from the Magnolia Zen Center in Marietta, Florida. I'm talking to you specifically today on the announcement of the release of my new book, Bringing Meditation to Life. I have been asked some questions regarding this process about writing and publishing. I was asked if I had a goal. How did I feel in the process? Printing and finally launching the book, did it bring some sort of feeling to me? What I can honestly say is that I really never had an ambition to be published exactly. And when I say exactly, it's like with the book at Hell's Gate, A Soldier's Journey from War to Peace. I was encouraged to write something about my story. I had put together a number of different things, and it was through the efforts of a particular individual that put me in a position to have to make a decision to be published or not. It was quite a risky business for me. I don't consider myself so much an author as I do a practicing monastic. But I tell you, it is a great honor and a privilege for me to have people consider my writing as something that is publishable. I also know that through the work of the editor and the publishing companies, people seem to have benefited a great deal from the first book at Hell's Gate, The Soldier's Journey from War to Peace. And I'll be curious to see how this one is received. What I will do in this podcast is I will read some excerpts from that book. Please feel free to look out on the various sources where it's available. If you check on the website, www.zaltho.org, that you'll find a link to the various sources where you can get a copy of the book. If you don't have enough resources to buy the book and you would like a copy, then please write to us at info@zaltho.org, and we'll see that you get a copy. I will also explain that the money that comes in from the sale of books is not great, but what money does come in after we've covered expenses, then that money goes to support the work of the Zaltho Foundation. What I'll do right now is to say I don't really have any goals around the release of this book. It is my great hope that people do buy it, that people do read it, and that it somehow provides some benefit to them in their life. What I'm going to do is read some excerpts from the book. There was a survey done, and a number of people suggested certain excerpts that they'd like to hear me read. It's very interesting for me because I have never sort of read like this in public. So I will begin by reading from page 7. This is chapter 2. My mind is always generating thoughts. Many people think that meditation is about stopping our thoughts or having a blank mind, but this is simply not possible. Our mind is of the nature to generate thoughts. Meditation is about learning not to get swept away by our thoughts. Initially, the technique of counting our breath from 1 to 10, then back again, can be helpful. Count 1 for the first cycle of breath, the first in-breath and out-breath. Then 2 for the next cycle, and so on. When you notice that your mind has wandered off, simply begin counting from 1. The point of this technique is not to master getting to 10 and then back to 1, nor do we count this way to block out our thoughts. Counting this way simply helps us to notice when we get swept away by our thoughts and lose contact with our breath. This will happen sometimes very quickly. When it does, we just return our attention to our breath and count 1. Meditation gives us the opportunity to develop a new kind of relationship to our thinking. We learn to be the observer of our thoughts without attaching to them or rejecting them. We start to notice that thoughts and feelings are not solid, real, or lasting. They arise, they have a certain life cycle, and then they pass away. If I am concentrated on my breath, then all things are present. My thoughts are here, my feelings are here. I am just not drawn as deeply into them, and I am not controlled by them. I will mention that the book, Bringing Meditation to Life, is published by the Oakwood Publishing Company. It is the first venture of this publishing company, and the publishing company looks forward to doing more. The next excerpt I've been asked to read is from page 31. It is chapter 13, the first precept, do not kill. The first Buddhist precept is to abstain from killing. This might sound like an easy precept to follow. I've never killed, you might say. Is that true? Our houses and furnishing, even the pages of this book, are made from killing trees. If we look more carefully, we will see that our lives are sustained at the expense of other life forms. The question then becomes, how can I live this precept? One way that has become apparent for me is not to eat any fish, meat, or poultry. With this step, I make a decision to not support the more obvious institutions of killing. Then it's up to me to continue to look deeply at my life with awareness and honesty, to see how I can reduce or eliminate other forms of killing. It is a never-ending process. By engaging with the Buddhist precepts, I have come to recognize and respect the law of karma, or cause and effect. For every action, there is a consequence. Most people think of karma as what comes around goes around, but this is too simplistic. We cannot know with certainty what the exact consequences of any action will be. We can only be certain that anger will produce more anger, hatred will generate more hatred, and that killing will lead to more killing. Somewhere, sometime, somehow. So if I want the world to be different, I must put all my effort into a disciplined spiritual practice so that I can be shown through this practice how to live differently. The next reading that I have been asked to pass on through this chat is from page 45, and it's chapter 20. Meditation is not medication. Do not be confused. Meditation is not medication. It will not rescue us from our pain, from unwanted mental or emotional states. Meditation is not for escaping our discomfort or for fixing ourselves. Meditation is about knowing more intimately that which we view as uncomfortable or unwanted. Please know that our discomfort does not mean that we are fundamentally broken, ill, or disordered. Discomfort is an unavoidable part of the human experience. Meditation is about facing ourselves, about developing the courage and commitment to be present to our thoughts, feelings, and perceptions on an ongoing basis, no matter what we're doing. One of the primary ways to do this is to maintain awareness of the breath. The path of meditation is about living on life's terms, rather than attempting to force life to conform to our terms or our ideas of how it ought to be. When we live this way, when we bring meditation practice into all aspects of our lives, we gradually come to discover our innate wisdom and our essential unbrokenness. The next excerpt that I'll read is from chapter 22, page 49, on bowing. In the first Zen monastery where I lived and studied, I was instructed in how and when to bow. I was told to press my palms together with my thumb tips and fingertips touching. I was to then rest my thumbs on the knuckles of my index fingers, and the tips of my longest fingers were to be parallel with the tip of my nose. In Japanese, the name of this position is gasho. The form was not to be too rigid or too relaxed. I was to place my hands at a comfortable distance from my body, not extended too far away nor too close. When bowing, I was told to bow at the waist, keeping my eyes engaged with the person or object to which I was bowing. To no other part of my body was to move. Upon entering the meditation hall, I was instructed to step in with my right foot first and then bow in this manner to the space itself. I was then to go to my sitting place and bow toward my cushion and then to turn, never showing my back to the altar, and bow to the person sitting across from me. I was also instructed to bow when the teacher or person leading the practice period entered the meditation hall, which was announced with the sound of a bell. At the time, I felt great resistance to all of this. I suffered immensely from my preconceived notions of what bowing represented. I thought bowing was an act of subjugation, a sign of being below another person. So I defiantly resisted following instructions. I stubbornly refused to bow to anyone or anything. But one day, still consumed by my suffering, I entered the meditation hall and, looking around to make sure that I was not observed, I half-heartedly bowed. I noticed that I did not feel diminished. I continued this half-hearted experiment in bowing until one day, just before I entered the meditation hall, I heard a clear, calm inner voice encouraging me to let go of my resistance and just bow. I thought, what's the harm? I can always stop. I placed my hands in gasho as instructed, and I stepped into the meditation hall with my right foot first. At the moment that my left foot joined my right foot, I bowed. When I stood upright again, I was flooded with a rush of feelings, and I burst into tears. I experienced a lightness of being that I did not know existed, a freedom from suffering that arose from bowing just to bow. Since then, I have come to appreciate the power of bowing practice in the process of waking up. It invites me to experience a powerful, sensitive, and engaged connection with whomever or whatever I am bowing to. I no longer see it as a gesture of submission, just the opposite. Today, I see it as a way to honor the potential for awakening that exists in each and every moment. The next excerpt I have been asked to read is located on page 159. It is chapter 76. The title, The Calm of Meditation Practice. Many people believe that meditation practice will help them to become calmer. Here is the beginning of a problem. People tend to hold a particular view of what it means to be calm. They want to become more placid, to reach a state where they transcend the way they feel or simply don't feel so much. Awakening has nothing to do with this sort of calmness. Calmness can be a byproduct of an active, engaged meditation practice. However, this calm is beyond our idea of it, beyond any idea. Through a disciplined and consistent meditation practice, we can develop greater stability and steadiness. This is not a state of having no unease, but a state of remaining rooted in practice in the midst of strong feelings or unsettling experiences. We can learn to stop being swept away by our emotional responses. With determination and commitment, we can discover how to live at peace with our unpeacefulness. When we are fully engaged in a disciplined practice, rooted in breath awareness and self-reflection, supported by an authentic teacher and a community of like-minded people, we will wake up to a full range of feelings. Over time, our relationship to our feelings and impulses will begin to shift and transform, and we will discover new choices and a new freedom. Just now, I want to conclude the readings from the book, Bringing Meditation to Life. I want to thank all of you who tune into this podcast for your attention, for your support, and please know that here at the Magnolia Zen Center, we are sitting online every Thursday and every Saturday. On Sundays, we have an open session online for questions and responses. We continue to be heavily invested in the work of supporting those who are less fortunate, especially during this pandemic. Please join us. And if nothing else, I invite you each morning, before you do anything, take 5 minutes, sit, connect with your breath, and take that experience into your day. And at the end of your day, repeat the process. Sit. Just for 5 minutes. Not just for 5 minutes, but sit for 5 minutes.
Thank you for listening to this episode on ZalthoLIVE. If you would like additional information, please look at the show notes or visit zaltho.org. That's ZALTHO.org. Our work is made possible solely through donations, so please consider making a tax-deductible gift on our website. We wish you well and thank you.